And I think now artists you've got much more accessibility to artists than you ever have. You just go in and say, can I remix one of your tracks if you like them? And I'm sure most of them, because they're not precious for their parts anymore. What are you going to see if you're out of tune vocals and this and that? So, like, there was that whole idea with, what's the guy from 9 Inch Nails? Is it Trent? Yeah, he gave all his parts on GarageBand. I think it's a brilliant idea. You know, I'd be more than happy for someone to remix the whole album as a project. And then if it's good enough to boot out, you know, finance that costs 300, 400 quid to boot out a little booty LP of it. And then just, I don't know, it's good for everyone's name, and it's good for, even if you do it digitally, so it don't cost anything. Because obviously I've got a bit more exposure than you. I could just whack it out on my forum and get people to listen to it.
That's what Radiohead's doing that as
yeah,
well.
They do. I think they do it, but sometimes I don't know whether they do it on a kind of scale to suit them. I don't know how many of you, for instance, if you got in touch with the record company, I don't know how far you'd get. Say you called them up tomorrow, I want to remix your album. Do you really think they say, you're right, I have parts? No, you have to go through about 25 doors.
It's, on iTunes, they've got the stems for
or something. They've got all the parts.
They sell them for like 99 cents.
Oh, that's good. What's the stems then? What does that mean?
Just like
all right, that's really good. You can buy them.
Yeah.
Right,
They also
let's
have
do it. Digital? Oh. But no, I mean, I just only give mine away. The only problem comes is when I'm so busy, I can't burn a DVD because it takes ages on my Mac to throw it across from a file because it's so big, and then burn it takes an hour. And if I haven't got an hour, then it becomes problematic. But yeah, generally, you know, I'm happy to anyone to do any remixes because there's nothing that interesting that comes out of remixes sometimes.
Which side of do you say you're into the dance side? Which side of it is it, or like, is there any specific genre that you're? Well,
not really. I used to do. It's kind of weird. I used to have like a '60s soul mod club, and I'd go out and do a lot of house as well. So I like a lot of that. I'm not the only kind of music dance music I don't really like. I don't really like the fast trance stuff, the harder house. I like it when it's more song based, and I'm really into things, a lot of the mashups and stuff, and the electro stuff now, the harder beats. So yeah, DJing's great with that stuff because you can really mess around with it. And I don't really use Serato or anything. I just use the actual CDJs and take samples and stuff and mess around with them. It's great.
Getting back to the Roses, Roses King's Castle. Where the hell did that name come from?
Everyone asks me that. You know what? There's no deep kind of.
Was it War of the Roses or something?
No, it wasn't, and that's my only regret. That it does sound a little bit. People keep saying, oh, it's very English sounding. I think, well, wasn't the intention? The intention was just 3 words that sounded quite good together. And I think most people can relate to that, and it's got maybe a sense of nostalgia or something to it. But there's no deep meaning there. Just 3 words. I could just spin you a yarn and say it's because of this or that, but I won't. Maybe I'll make one up.
Go on.
What's the weirdest technique you ever used to get a particular sound?
Again, I mean, I'm not that tech-headed, but some of the stuff we were doing was like the drums on that are all individually built up from the bass drum to the snare. I didn't play a kit. We just put one of those really small baby kits from like cash converters, and just like taped up the bass drum and stuff. And just there's nothing that odd, to be honest. Shambles-wise, I think it's all pretty conventional as well. Apart from it's been really live. Mick Jones didn't want to use Pro Tools the first time round, so it's all very, very live sounding recording, as you can hear on the album. There's quirky little things. Like on my album, you can hear bells as well at the start of a track, or you can hear motorbikes going by. It's because we're in a bedroom and you get this bass hum. Vroom. I think people like that. You know, no one wants the sterile environment to hear something really polished.
What's your favourite artist, or what's your favourite track of all time?
I think it varies from genre to genre, really. It's pretty hard just to pick one out. And it changes what kind of mood I'm in. It's really hard to pick one out. Even an album, it'd be hard to. I really like a big album I listen to, like Stone Roses' first album, but it sounds a bit dated now, maybe. A lot of folk stuff as well, like Nick Drake, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it changes, to be honest. It's really hard to say my favourite track or artist. But I mean, I like a lot of the real early house stuff, things like Gerald, a guy called Gerald, and people like that on the dance tip, and a lot of breakbeat stuff as well. I like a lot of that, but it's hard to really pinpoint an exact tune. Do any of you do mashups? Get into the mashup scene, man. Honestly, I know a lot of indie DJs, and it's so easy to use Ableton. So easy. I know everyone hates that, don't they? It's a dirty word. I use it a lot. It's so easy. I know it's cutting corners, but you always say that. You always say, "Oh, Ableton, we use Pro Tools." I give you a few years, you'll be using Ableton anyway. But what you should do is just do indie mashups of big tunes that, like, your average big indie DJ like me would throw down, and then they'll get played. It's a massive one I've got with the Killers and Arctic Monkeys. It's all like illegal stuff, but it's so easy to do, and it'll get your name exposed and get it on the blogs and stuff, and get on Hype Machine. That's the good thing to do.
A mate of mine actually, I just tell you this because you like your mashups. He's a drum bass producer, but he has this like one where you get what's it, Spice Girls 2 Become One,
Yeah.
and Square Pusher's My Red Hot Car, and when you sync it up perfectly, it drops at the right time, it comes
really?
back at the right time. It's like
Ableton's great. You know, I use it sometimes. I go into Ableton if I haven't got time, just chop up a tune quickly, and then maybe put, I don't know, get like the verse part of the same song on a separate CD. So then when I'm mixing, I've got a lot more scope to play with. I've got like a whole loop of about 3 minutes of, I don't know, a Dizzy Rascal loop, and then I've got the chorus on this CD, so I can really mess around with it live as well. But I think there's not enough people doing good mashups. There's a lot of people doing really shit mashups, but from my point of view, you know, really big like indie hits just thrown together are brilliant because it makes it exciting and interesting. And you get like a blog which anyone can do, and you throw it up. There's a lot of people doing that, and they're getting recognition for that. That's how DJs are getting work really, from remixing, throwing loads of stuff out. I suppose it's not really, if you lot are doing live, it's a different ball game. But even that, you could get, you know, people to play live stuff over already recorded tracks. It's about being innovative with it, I suppose.
get on the Serato or Tractor Scratch.
What's his face? That rich LA kid, what's his name? Mark Ronson. All he's done really is, you know, got loads of musicians to just rejiggle old tracks. And I think that's a great idea. I think they're scoping that at the moment. Obviously, you're not going to be rich LA kids that you can afford it like him, but you know, I think that's a great concept. You can get mates to maybe play the rhythm tracks of an Arctic Monkeys song, and then find a good vocal from somewhere and whack it over the top. It's interesting things like that you can do with like little budget, really.